So, Prince Harry has been the talk of the town this week after he made a swift visit to the UK to see his cancer-stricken father, King Charles. Then, in the early hours of this morning, he was seen making a surprise visit to the NFL Awards, where he presented the prestigious award for NFL Man of the Year. And here he is in action.
Please welcome the Walter Payton NFL Man of the Year, Cam the Man Hayward.
Prince freaking Harry.
Well, there we go. In the latest development to his legal battle, so this is very much the news of the day, the Duke of Sussex has settled his phone hacking case against the Mirror Group newspapers. But he still remains critical of the paper's former editor, Piers Morgan. Now, in a statement read outside the High Court by his barrister, David Sherborne, Harry said, "In light of this, we call again for the authorities to uphold the rule of law and to prove that no one is above it." That includes Mr Morgan, who, as editor, knew perfectly well what was going on as the judge held. Well, here's what Piers Morgan had to say in response.
Invading the privacy of the royal family is utterly reprehensible. And on that, I share Prince Harry's opinion. I just wish he'd stop doing it.
Well, it's not holding back, is he? Joining me now to discuss this is former butler to King Charles. It's Grant Harrold. Look, Grant, thank you very, very much. Difficult to know exactly where to start tonight. Should we just get this phone hacking stuff out of the way a bit, really? Because, you know, when the phone hacking scandal was taking place in these, how much of an impact do you think that really did have on Harry, and has it led up to where we are today, which has culminated in a settlement?
I think we spoke about this before, Patrick, where I find the whole thing so confusing. I mean, of course it would have impacted, but I mean, the phone hacking thing, it's happened to other members of the royal family in the past. There's always been cases about it. They've all moved on from it. This thing with Harry is kind of ongoing, and obviously there's been this out-of-court settlement. But it's interesting that there's an out-of-court settlement, but he's still obviously voicing his upset, and they kind of think, well, is it not better just to stop, draw a line under it, and move on? I think I've said to you before that this thing with royals having legal battles is just not great. I mean, the late Queen, in all her reign, I think there was 2 legal battles, and for quite good reason, and that was the only times that we ever heard of the royals being in legal battles, where with Harry, for whatever reason, it seems to be ongoing, and I just don't think it's advisable, for royals to be having these ongoing legal battles.
I just wonder if it undermines his cause, Harry, because if he was really just doing this out of principle, you'd see it all the way through. You'd drag it all the way through to court. You'd get that verdict at the end. You'd get vindication. Absolutely. You'd stand on the steps of the court outside. You'd give whatever damages you've got to charity, and you'd move on, wouldn't you? But that's not happened, Grant.
I agree. I mean, this is the thing. If you feel that strong about it, stick to the end. And as quite rightly, as you said, which I'm sure he would do, donate the money to charity because he doesn't need it. And at least then you've had your day in court. Where having this kind of ongoing fighting and then out-of-court settlements and all this, I just don't understand it. Personally, I don't get it. So either you're all in or you're all out, and he's not really making sense with it.
Can I just ask you a little bit about King Charles as well, of course, because Harry was seen at this NFL Awards thing. I know he got a lot of stick for that, and it's rare for me to go out my way to stick up for Prince Harry. However, William was seen at a gala dinner, and, when William does something like that, it's very much working, all right? When Harry does something like the NFL Awards, it's seen as always there gallivanting. So, look, to be fair, give him his credit where it's due, it was largely similar to William wearing a tux stood next to Tom Cruise at a gala dinner, right? But his supposed 12-minute or half-an-hour trip to see the King, will that have helped the King? Do you think the King will be happy about that? What are you hearing?
I don't know. I am kind of concerned with the whole situation because obviously it's interesting that he came over. It's really weird, isn't it? As a former butler, and as you know, I've been very lucky to be in a privileged position. I'm confused at what went on in those 12 minutes because it just doesn't make sense. And the other thing concerns me, Patrick, you might have noticed, Prince William also was doing some investitures yesterday as well. And notably, it was commented, I noticed that he seemed a bit out of sorts. And I think he even dropped one of the orders that he was presenting, which is so unlike him. I mean, really unlike him. And to my mind, it's got me kind of thinking that is there something else kind of going on? Because, it does, even I'm slightly worried about it. And whether he's worrying about, obviously, his father. Is he worrying about the Princess of Wales? Because obviously she's not been well recently. There just seems to be so many questions with so many unanswered things. And even though the King has amazingly spoken up, which is very unusual, there seems to be something else going on. And even friends have been contacting me over the last 24 hours asking me, and I don't know, but I agree, there's something not adding up about the whole thing.
Yeah, so you know them incredibly well. You know, you saw the boys growing up. You know King Charles. You're in a perfect position to be able to say when someone definitely is feeling out of sorts. So you think that something is really rocking William, maybe more so than the fact that his dad's got cancer, I suppose, in a way.
Absolutely. I mean, it could just be as simple as he's worried about his father. His wife has also obviously gone through some sort of serious procedure. I mean, there's no question about it. And as I said, it's just I've noticed a lot of comments, and there's been obviously some video footage of yesterday when he was doing these the investitures, and he just didn't seem quite right. I can't put my finger on it. Something just didn't seem right. And then with Harry suddenly coming in for the 12-minute audience with the King and then suddenly going back, there's just something odd. And maybe why it could also be maybe he's just upset about something. But I just get the feeling that there's something else going on, but we might never know. That's the reality. You know, even though the King has, as I said, has been amazing about voicing and talking about, which has been interesting also, Patrick, because there's also been a huge surge in people actually researching about prostate cancer and different types of cancers, which is a positive. Of course, it's positive. But I just get the feeling
do you
there's
think,
something
Grant,
else.
do you think that there is a chance that actually things are a lot more serious with the King than maybe first thought?
Yeah, possibly. I'm not going to lie. I am beginning to wonder that myself. I am kind of wondering if because the thing about the King, as I've said over the last couple of days, even to GBNews, is that he is somebody that just gets on with business. He very much he puts his head down. He's a real worker. He's a real grafter, and he just gets on with it. But I don't know. I've just got a feeling that something's not quite right, and time will tell. And I hope I'm wrong. I'd like to think I'm wrong, but something just doesn't seem quite right.
Okay, all right, Grant. Well, thank you very much for your time, and no doubt we'll talk again very, very soon. As much as I love you and our viewers and listeners love you, we all hope you're wrong as well, Grant. But look, take care, and I'll chat to you soon. All right, that's Grant Harrold.
Absolutely.
Former royal butler to King Charles, Prince William and Harry. Concerning stuff, that, isn't it?